Morning students, myself Komal Desai. I am your science teacher and today we'll start with the first lesson from your textbook. Lesson number 1, Living World and Classification of Microbes. You can see the name I have written here. Lesson number 1, Living World and Classification of Microbes. So in this lesson the first topic, that is biodiversity and the need of classification. Okay, so we'll see the definition of biodiversity. All of you are knowing the definition of biodiversity. Yes, last year we have studied about biodiversity. Once again we will just quickly revise what is the meaning of biodiversity. Yes, see, biodiversity means the variety we see in all the living things that belong to a particular area is called the biodiversity of that place. What is the definition? The variety we see in all the living things means on all the living things, all the animals, all the plants, all the microorganisms, they are all not same. Yes, they are different. They have variety in them. Yes, they are having similarities. Based on their similarities and differences, we are classifying them. Correct? So they are that belong to a particular area, means in the particular area they are belonging. Yes, so that is called as biodiversity of that place. I hope you have understood the definition of biodiversity. Correct? The variety we see in all the living things that belong to a particular area is called the biodiversity of that place. We'll start with the first topic from your textbook, that is biodiversity and need of classification. Just now we have seen the definition of biodiversity, correct? Now, according to 2011 census, around 87 million species of living organisms are found on the earth, including land and sea. You can see the number of species, 87 million species are found on land and water. Yes, so this is the huge number, correct? To study such a vast number, it was essential to divide them into groups. Yes, this is a big number, vast number, huge number, so we need to divide them to study them. So groups and subgroups were created, considering the similarities and differences among the living organisms. How they are made or how they are made the groups and subgroups based on the similarities and differences among the living organisms. This process of dividing living organisms into groups and subgroups is called biological classification. Yes, what is the meaning of biological classification? The process of dividing living organisms into groups and subgroups is called biological classification. So this is the definition. Once again we will read out the definition. This process of dividing living organisms into groups and subgroups is called biological classification. And how we are dividing them into groups and subgroups? Yes, based on their similarities and differences, because there is a huge or vast number of species found on the earth. Yes, and it is difficult to study them, so we are dividing them based on their similarities and differences. So this process of dividing living organisms into groups and subgroups, it is called as biological classification. So this is the definition. The process of dividing living organisms into groups and subgroups is called biological classification. I hope you understood the definition. Correct? Now, the scientist Robert Harding Whittaker was an American ecologist. In 1969, he divided living organisms into 5 groups. The name of the scientist who divided living organisms into 5 groups is Robert Harding Whittaker. This is the name of the scientist. He was an American ecologist. In 1969, he divided living organisms into 5 groups. Now we will see that 5 groups, which 5 groups he has divided living organisms. For this classification, Whittaker considered following criteria. So based on the following criteria, he has divided living organisms into 5 groups. So First criteria is, as you can see on the screen, I have written there, complexity of cell structures. In that, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. I know all of you have heard these words, prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cell. Last year you have studied about this. So what is the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell? Yes, correct. Prokaryotic cells, they do not have nucleus in it, and eukaryotic cells, they have nucleus in it. This is the difference between prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. Correct. So first criteria is complexity of cell structures. Based on the complexity of cell structure, cells, they are divided into two types, prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells, they do not have nucleus in it, and eukaryotic cells, they have nucleus in it. I hope you understood the first one. Correct. Now the second, complexity of organisms. Based on complexity of organism, it is further divided into unicellular or multicellular. What is the meaning of unicellular and what is the meaning of multicellular? Yes, unicellular means the animals or the plants which is having only one cell, and multicellular means the animals or the plants or the living organisms whose body is made up of so many cells. Yes, multicellular means they are having many cells in their body, and unicellular means they are having only one cell in their body. I hope you have understood the first and second criteria. First criteria is, once again we will repeat. First criteria, complexity of cell structure. So based on the cell structure, it is divided into prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. And complexity of organisms, based on complexity of organisms, it is divided into unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular means living organisms who is having only one cell in their body, and multicellular means their body is made up of so many cells. Okay, now we will see the next criteria. Third criteria, mode of nutrition. Yes, mode of nutrition means how the living organism take their food. Plants, autotrophic, photosynthetic. As you know very well, plants are autotrophs. Yes, means what? They are making their own food by the process of photosynthesis, using sunlight, using water. Yes, chlorophyll, they are making their own food. So plants are autotrophic. Fungi, they are saprophytic. What is the meaning of saprophytic? Saprophytic means the living organisms who are depending on dead organisms. They are absorbing food from the dead organisms. They are called as saprophytes. So fungi are saprophytic. And now the third one, that is animals. Animals are heterotrophic and ingestive. Means what? They are not making their own food. They are depending on other animals and plants for their food. So this is the mode of nutrition. Plants are autotrophic, fungi are saprophytic, and animals are heterotrophic and ingestive. Means they are depending on different animals and plants for their food. They are not making their own food. Plants are making their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Yes, so that's why they are called as autotrophs. Fungi are saprophytes. Why? Because they are depending on dead organisms. And animals are heterotrophic and ingestive. So this is the third criteria. First criteria we have seen, that is complexity of cell structure. Correct. What is the second criteria we have seen? Complexity of organisms. And the third criteria, mode of nutrition. Now the fourth criteria, that is lifestyle. Plants are producers, means they are producing or they are making their own food, so they are producers. Animals are consumers. Why? Because they are depending on the plants for their food, so they are consumers. Fungi are decomposers. Decomposer is an organism that decomposes or breaks down organic matter such as remains of dead organisms. So fungi are decomposers. Yes. Now the next criteria, that is fifth criteria, phylogenetic relationship. It is further divided into prokaryotic to eukaryotic and unicellular to multicellular. So in phylogenetic relationship, similar based on the similarities, they are divided into prokaryotic to eukaryotic and unicellular to multicellular. As you know, for the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryote cells and unicellular and multicellular. So this is the fifth criteria. I hope you understood all the five criteria. Yes. What is the first criteria? Complexity of cell structure. Then what is the second criteria? Complexity of organism. Third criteria is mode of nutrition. Fourth criteria, lifestyle. And the fifth criteria, phylogenetic relationship. I hope you have understood all the five criteria. Now we'll see the picture of prokaryotic cell. You can see a prokaryotic cells. As first only I had told, prokaryotic cells, they do not have nucleus in it. You can see nucleoid, cytoplasms, plasma membrane, cell wall, but there is an absence of nucleus. This is the picture of prokaryotic cell. Now this is eukaryotic cell. You can see nucleus is present in it. In center it is nucleus. I have here it is down written nucleus. Yes. So what is the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic? Prokaryotic cells, they do not have nucleus in it, and eukaryotic cell, they have nucleus in it. I hope you understood all the five criteria. Now you can see here one table. Yes. 5 kingdom system of classification. Living organisms, they are further divided into prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. The difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes, you know very well. Prokaryote cells, they do not have nucleus in it, and eukaryotic cells, they have nucleus in it. So living organisms are further divided into prokaryotes and eukaryotes. And then prokaryotes are divided into unicellular and eukaryotics are further unicellular and multicellular. Means prokaryotics are unicellular. Means what? Unicellular, what is the meaning of unicellular? Yes, living organisms which are made up of only one cell. And eukaryotics are further divided into unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular, which is having only one cell in their body, and multicellular, more than one cell they have. Then these unicellular are further divided into kingdom 1 Monera. You can see here it is written kingdom 1 Monera. And here eukaryotics, they are unicellular, they are multicellular. Unicellular, it is further divided into kingdom 2 Protista, and multicellular, it is divided into 3 types: kingdom 3 fungi, kingdom 4 plantae, and kingdom 5 animalia. Yes. So living organisms are divided into prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are further divided into unicellular, and under unicellular kingdom 1 Monera. Here eukaryotics are divided into unicellular and multicellular. Unicellular are further divided into kingdom 2 Protista, and multicellular, they are divided into 3 kingdom: kingdom 3 fungi, kingdom 4 plantae, and kingdom 5 animalia. Here down also it is written kingdom 3 fungi, cell wall present, but organisms can't perform photosynthesis. That you know very well. Fungi are what? They are based on, or they are dependent on dead and decaying matter. So they are not performing photosynthesis. They are not making their own food. Kingdom 4 plantae, cell wall present, and organisms can perform photosynthesis. Kingdom 4 plantae, they are performing photosynthesis, they are making their own food. And kingdom 5 animalia, no cell wall present in it. I hope you understood all the 5 kingdom system of classification. Yes. Now each one we will study in detail. First, kingdom 1 Monera. Activity, one activity is given. Take a small drop of curd or buttermilk on a clean glass slide. Glass slide you know very well, you have seen in the science lab. Dilute it with a little water. We will add a drop of water in that. Carefully keep a cover slip the small one, square shape. Carefully keep a cover slip and observe it under a microscope. On a glass slide, we will take a drop of curd or buttermilk. We will add a drop of water to dilute it, and we will keep a cover slip on that, and we will observe this under a microscope. So we can see moving small rod-like microbes are lactobacilli bacteria. All type of bacteria and blue-green algae are included in the kingdom Monera. So which are the examples of kingdom Monera? All type of bacteria and blue-green algae are included in the kingdom Monera. The first kingdom Monera, which comes under which cells? Yes, try to recollect. It comes under prokaryotic cells. Correct. Now, which are the characteristics of kingdom 1 Monera that we will see now? These are the three characteristics of kingdom Monera. First one, all the organisms are unicellular. The organisms which comes under kingdom 1 Monera, they all are unicellular. Means what? Their body is made up of only one cell, single cell. Second, they may be autotrophic or heterotrophic. Some of them they are making their own food. Some of them they are dependent on other plants or animals for their food. And the third criteria is these are prokaryotic cells without distinct nucleus or cell organelles. As I told first only, they are prokaryotic cells without distinct nucleus. They don't have nucleus in it or cell organelles. I hope you are clear with all the three characteristics. Yes, kingdom 1 Monera. These are the three characteristics, and examples are blue-green algae. Yes, what else? Bacteria, lactobacilli bacteria, we have seen the example. Then first characteristic is all the organisms are unicellular. They are autotrophic or heterotrophic, and these are prokaryotic cells without distinct nucleus or cell organelles. Now we can see the example, we can see the picture of kingdom 1 Monera. These are the organisms from kingdom 1 Monera. You can see the picture of different organisms which comes under kingdom Monera. Yes, all of you have seen the picture. Okay, now we'll move to the next, that is kingdom 2 Protista, which comes under, yes, eukaryotic cells. Correct. Now kingdom 2 Protista. Activity: take one drop of pond water on a glass slide. We will take a drop of pond water on a glass slide. Observe it under microscope. You will find some motile microbes. Motile means movable microbes with irregular shape. These are amoeba, that you know very well. Amoeba, they do not have any shape. Yes, they have irregular shape. So kingdom 2 Protista, the example is amoeba. Yes. Now we'll see the characteristics of kingdom 2 Protista. First characteristic, Protista are single-celled organisms with well-defined nucleus enclosed in a nuclear membrane. They have nucleus inside it. Yes, why? Because they comes under eukaryotic cells. So eukaryotic cells, they have nucleus in it. So this is the first characteristic. Protista are single-celled organisms with well-defined nucleus enclosed in a nuclear membrane. Now we'll see the second characteristic. They have pseudopodia or hair-like cilia or whip-like flagella for locomotion. Locomotion means for movement. For movement they are having pseudopodia, means hair-like structure, that is cilia or whip-like flagella for locomotion. For their movement they are having pseudopodia. This is the second characteristic. Now the third characteristic is autotrophs. Example Euglena, volvox contain chloroplast, and heterotrophs, example amoeba and paramecium. So these are the examples of kingdom 2 Protista. They are, as I told, they are autotrophs also, they are heterotrophs also. So autotrophs examples are Euglena, volvox. Why? Because they contain chloroplast, so they are making their own food, so they are autotrophs. And heterotrophs examples are amoeba and paramecium. I hope you are clear with this, all the three characteristics. Now we'll see the example of kingdom 2 Protista. These are the organisms from kingdom Protista. See here, you can see first one Volvox, second Paramecium, third one Euglena, and the fourth one Amoeba. Yes, these are the 4 examples of kingdom to Protista. I hope you are clear with first and second kingdom. First one is kingdom 1. Yes, try to recollect. Kingdom 1 Monera, correct. And the second one kingdom 2 Protista. Yes. Okay, so what we have studied today? We have seen the definition of biodiversity. Then we have seen the definition of biological classification. Then we have seen the name of the scientist. The name of the scientist is, yes, name of the scientist we have seen Robert Harding Whittaker. Yes, this is the name of the scientist who classify living organisms into 5 kingdom. Yes, then based on the characteristics he had divided into living organisms into 5 groups. So that criteria also we have seen, which is the first criteria, complexity of cell structure, correct. What is the second criteria? Complexity of organism. Third is, yes, mode of nutrition. Then fourth one is lifestyle, and the fifth one is phylogenetic relationship. After that we have seen one table. Yes, living organisms are divided into 2 types, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. Under prokaryotic they are unicellular, and under eukaryotic they are unicellular and multicellular, correct. So I hope you understood till here, no doubt. Then we have seen kingdom 1 Monera, characteristics of it, and we have seen the kingdom 2 Protista and characteristics of it. So that's it, that's all today. We'll start the next topic in the next class. I hope you understood till here. Okay, you will revise everything. Okay, thank you so much.